Welcome to Opinion Havers, a movie podcast for virgins on the bus. I'm Cody.
And I'm Tyler.
Tyler, what did we watch?
We watched Paterson.
Yeah, we did.
That's it. It's just
Paterson.
one word. Paterson.
Paterson.
Like Paterson, New Jersey.
Yeah, or Paterson, the guy.
Yeah.
It's deep. This movie's deep, all right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. What's this movie about? Is it about the guy? Is it about the city? You'll never know. There's too many layers of meaning, Tyler.
Oh,
You can't figure it out.
okay.
Tyler, you want to tell the good people what this movie's about?
It's about a bus driver, and it's his work week. Or, well, not work week. It includes the weekend.
Yeah, but the bus driver's played by Adam Driver. See how many levels there are? Adam Driver, bus driver.
Cody, you just stole
this
one of my
movie-
notes.
This
All
movie
right.
goes deep. Oh no!
Word for word. That was one of my notes.
Don't hurt me,
just
Tyler. Don't
check
do it.
Just check it away, I guess. But yeah, I mean that's what it's about.
This one's a Cody movie, and let me tell you, I'll give you my rundown. All right, my little first take. I liked it. A nice, whatever happened to just a nice little movie about a week in the life of a bus driver. You know what I'm saying? That's what's wrong with America today. We don't have enough movies that's just like Adam Driver was here for a week, and we watched it, and I liked it. I don't know if I loved it, but I liked it. It was a nice little movie. All right, I appreciated it. Just a pleasant little journey, That's how I felt. How'd you do on it? I know you woke up early to watch this movie.
Oh, yeah.
You set your alarm on a 3-day weekend to pop this one off.
Yeah, on this day, the anniversary of the birth of our nation, Cody, I woke up early enough to watch this movie before we record. And last night I was like, all right, how early do I need to work? It's a movie. It's a Cody movie. It's a movie that Cody asked if I thought it was too boring to get through, which was that was a punch in the soul nuts. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it's probably, how long is it? Thinking it's probably gonna be like an hour and a half, I think. And I'm like, it's a 2-hour movie, and I was like, gosh. And I turned to Tiffany. I was like, why does Cody always pick 2-hour movies that are about nothing? They're about nothing. It's like, let's watch this person's life fall apart or not fall apart for 2 hours. And that's it. There's nothing. There's no, nothing. It's just, here's your neighbor. Here's what your neighbor's doing. It's like, cool. I've always wondered
Nothing
what
cool,
they're up
but
to.
he's doing,
Yeah.
Anything interesting happening to the neighbor? Definitely not, but,
He's doing
neighbor.
doing the same thing you're doing. But next door.
So did you like it?
Yeah, it was all right. It's pretty good. Here's the real question. Did I like the movie or do I like Adam Driver? That's the real question. And I think really I like Adam Driver. And I identified with some points of the movie. So I think that's why I liked it.
This is one that it's like 2-hour indie movie that easily could have been like 75 minutes long, If they wanted to, they could have cranked, not enough happens that look, I can't dive in too deep because we're not there yet, and I don't want to spoil the movie and the week of a bus driver for anyone. Because let me tell you, there are spoilers.
Let me tell you, Cody. This is gonna be weird. This is gonna sound weird, but I feel like of all people, you will understand what I'm saying here.
Okay.
This is what I imagine Fargo is, but there's also a murder happening. But everything else is just normal. All right? From the trailers,
I mean,
from the trailers of the movie and the show.
The show or the movie?
Most vividly is the first season of the show, which is more closely like the movie, right? Because it's up in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's similar to similar plotline as the movie.
I just remember the trailers for it all the time, being like just people doing stuff, but it's like also murder happened and we're investigating the murder. But most of the time, like every time they'd be like,
Well,
so you're going to see your folks this weekend? Oh yeah. And it's like, what?
Tyler, I need you to watch Fargo. Here's the thing about Fargo.
I'm not
The
Cody.
movie-
I've never seen the show. I've seen the trailer. I was telling you what the trailers have told me. All right.
This is what I'm mad about. Okay. Fargo, the movie, excellent. Definitely worth a watch. Fargo, the show, season 1 of Fargo is like one of the best seasons of TV. It's fantastic. Let me tell you. All right, let's take a break from talking about Paterson because it's worth doing. Here's the thing about Fargo. It's so funny you'd compare it to this. This is what Fargo is, okay?
Yeah.
Paterson is a bus driver who writes poems in 7 days. And nothing happens. Fargo, it's Minnesota nice people get involved with criminals and the police storyline. So you have like a criminal psychopath, a regular dude who got tied up with the criminal, and then the police trying to figure out what happened. So it's like there's more happening, but that's like every season of Fargo is along those same lines too. Where you're like, oh, this guy accidentally made a deal with the devil. Let's see how this goes, you know? But they do have fun accents, so there's that.
But I'm saying the amount of times casserole was brought up in the trailers for the show is ridiculous. All right, so that's what I'm associate because they never for the first season. I don't even know if they show the psychopath, like the criminal character, in like most of the TV trailers. They just show like the nice people and like the cop asking a question, the person be like, "Oh no." So it's like I know.
And there's like
you did something.
Then there's like Martin Freeman in a big puffy coat running.
Yeah.
Down a snowy street, you're like, well, why is he running? You know, and that's it. Yeah, I hear you. The villain in season 1 of Fargo, though, so one of my favorites, all-time greats.
Is it Adam Driver?
So good. No.
Oh, well.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, I did know that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, we've teased it. I think we got to dive into Paterson now because the people want to know. They want to know what it's all about.
All right, Cody. Hop on in. Hop in. Get in here, Cody. Get into the TIE fighter. We're flying off into... Because he's in Star Wars, Cody. Now get into the bus. Get into the bus. But a TIE fighter is painted on the bus, Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes that sound every time I open and close the door.
I would ride the bus a lot more often if there were Star Wars sound effects going on.
Yeah, everyone would. Are you kidding?
It sounds like a good time.
Hey, you'd pay $30,000 to ride that bus, right? That's what Disney thinks.
Yes.
So get in the bus and let's hop on down to scenic Paterson, New Jersey, Cody. Be a quick 3-hour drive for me. I could be at those falls, Cody, if they even exist anymore. I could be there right now, but no, I had to watch the movie. We're here. We're at the falls in scenic Spoilerton, New Jersey.
Tyler, let's talk about it. Do you want to pop off first? For me to pop off.
I'll pop off. I'll do it first. You know what?
You're gonna pop off?
I'll pop off. I'll pop off. That way you can rebut my buttles. Ugh, I hate. Okay, let's get just another. When you type timer into Windows 11, it pulls up the clock, and the first thing it gives you is like the focus timer and to do. And daily progress and Spotify. And it's like, none of these are the thing that I want when I search timer. Just pull up Microsoft, please. Just pull up the timer, all right? When I click on the clock.
Tyler, I'm going to tell you right now. Microsoft, they are listening and they don't care. You know,
Phil,
your rage is what fuels them. Bill Gates is sitting, he's giggling. He's laughing at you. This is what gets him going in the morning is your hatred for his timer search function.
Phil, please. I've bought so many Xboxes. Make something happen here, man. I don't know how much pull you have here, but I need you to do something. All right?
See, I feel like you're talking to the wrong person. Bill, he's cold-blooded. He don't care. You got to get Melinda. Hook up with Melinda. She's the one that can make it happen. She's got a heart. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Heart
talking. No,
with blood
I'm not asking
and
Bill,
feelings.
Cody. No. Bill's abandoned us long ago to go play with mosquitoes. All right. I'm talking about Phil Spencer. All right. He's the head of Xbox. He's on the board that runs Microsoft. Okay. He's the one I need. He's the hero we all deserve. All right. Have I spent probably more on PlayStations? Sure. But Cody, what's important is I've bought multiple Xboxes every generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the rant now. All right. I'm gonna do
All
it.
right.
All right. I'm going into it. Cody, let's talk about these poems. Let's talk about how the word beautiful is used. Okay. Cody, I'm a man of culture. Poems. We don't need poems anymore. All right. Let's move on. All right, we've got, we've got smartphones now. We don't need poems. You know what I'm saying? That's the message I drew from this movie. All right, let's talk about the weirder thing in that same conversation where she says, "What's it like to have such wonderful feet?" or something. What does that mean? If my wife asked me that, I'd be like, "What? Are you doing drugs? What is happening? What's going on? Why? What? Who are you? What is happening? Who hurt you? All right. Why? What? It's because he's got big feet, right? Right? It's big feet. All right. The mixing in this movie was weird, right? At least at the beginning. Like, there was a couple characters that it sounded like some were like, oh, yeah, like, I'm just, like, oh, man, that's crazy how I'm, talking. And then I, talking. And then somebody else was like, hey, so, like, out here, we're saying lines in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was just like, what is happening right now? You're all like, it's not like this is a cartoon. It's not like you're in the VO booth. Why is it weird? Cody, it was weird, right? Like, there was a couple characters, their audio was blown way out. And I'm like, why is your audio? Why? All right. Cody, did Persia have elephants? Look into your heart. All right, Cody, look into your heart and ask yourself, did ancient Persia have elephants? Did the ancient Persian Empire, widely known for having elephants, have elephants? Yes, it had elephants. All right, let's talk. Donnie? I feel you, Donnie. I feel you. All right? I'm here for you, Donnie. Cody, we need to get Donnie on the podcast. All right. We need to let him just go off. Let him vent his frustrations. All right. Donnie needs help, Cody. All right. You're looking at me like you don't know who Donnie is. Donnie's the hero of the story. All right. All right. Adam, he gets bamboozled. All right. Adam, what's his name? Paterson. Paterson gets bamboozled here. His wife, she got this dream. She making cupcakes. Then she doing something else. Then she doing something else. Then she sees this guitar, and it's the only thing she's ever wanted in her whole life is this guitar that she learned about 20 minutes ago. And it's only a few $100s. Adam, you sweet boy. You sweet barrel-chested boy. Don't buy that guitar. Cody, don't. You know this, Cody. Don't buy that guitar. But you know what happens? The guitar gets bought. Tiffany came in after the guitar had been bought. What was the first thing she said? That's a nice guitar. I was like, oh no. Oh no. I'm about to get got by Esteban. That's what's about to happen, all right? Cody, look at me. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down on Brussels sprouts. That's a thumbs down. That's a thumbs down. All right, that's good. I'm glad we can agree. Brussels sprouts, not great. All right, in pie form, I could maybe though. Why would Cody, if you had a food brought to you in pie form, would you be like, oh, dinner pie? What is this? What madness have we descended into where a savory pie exists? Adam Driver, what world are you living in, man? You were in the Marines, all right? And you tell me you never had pot pie, all right? Sure, it probably looked gray and like slop, but you had it, my guy. I know you did. I know what these mess halls serve. I know, all right? I've been there. The Marines are like, oh, we've served dirt and crackers. It's like, no, you weren't. You were served the same food everybody else was. Get over yourself. You're in the same army as everybody else, all right? Shout out. I'm calling them out, Cody. I'm calling out every person named Adam Driver in the Marine Corps. Get over it. You've had chicken pot pie before, all right? Marvin's a douche. Can we agree on that? Can we agree on Marvin being the worst dog ever? I know you love Marvin, but he's worse than Bendy, the previous worst dog ever. All right, Cody? I'm looking at you. You see in there. It's true, though, Cody. You know it. You know it. You're blinded, Cody. You're blinded by her sweet, sweet face, but it's true. She's there. She doesn't growl at you when you kiss, though, does she? Cody, there's a point at the end of this movie. I have a note here, and I said, is this where Squid Game tie-in happens? And you know what part I'm talking about.
Tyler, I'm gonna have to cut you off right there. You started off and I was with you, and at the end you threw some punches, and I'm gonna have to rebut you. I'm gonna have to rebut you hard right now. Here we go. It's starting. Marvin is a beautiful man, and let me tell you, I've never been more. Look, let me read you my Marvin notes. Bulldog, that's one of them. I will riot if anything happens to this dog. They tease it because at one point, there's some young ruffians in a car, and they're like, "Hey, that kind of dog's gonna get dog napped." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Oh, if these hoodlums do anything to this man, to this sweet English bulldog named Marvin, I'm gonna burn this movie." You never know with indie films. You never know if it's just gonna be a little slice of life movie or if this man's dog gets kidnapped and his wife leaves him. You don't know how it's going to go down. And at one point I wrote, Marvin is the protagonist. I realized, it's not about Adam Driver. It's not about the wife. It's not about anyone. It's about this movie is centered on Marvin. Let me tell you, my last note, no, Marvin is the villain. The biggest, you know what I'm saying? More so than Anakin becoming Darth Vader, anything, the turn that we took, I was heartbroken. It's like Gandalf when he realizes Saruman is evil. He's like, no, my friend, my companion. Marvin is the villain of this film, and it broke my heart. I was worried about this movie. I was like, where's the plot going? The plot is Marvin he's become evil. You know what I'm saying? He's out here. He's tipping over the mailbox. He's the one who's doing it. He is the villain. And you know what? I've never cared so deeply for a villain. I never wanted so much for the villain. You know what I'm saying? We have his whole origin story. Marvin's here. He just wants his walkies. That's all he wants. He wants his walkies. He gets a walk every evening, but he gets put outside the bar. He got to sit outside the bar. Well, Adam Driver just sits here observing other people, drinking. You know what I'm saying? Marvin is justified in everything he did, okay? You know what if he didn't get left out, he never would have ate that notebook. So how dare you besmirch Marvin and Bendy alike? I love Marvin. I love him so dearly. So that's where you are wrong. Here's what you don't understand. This is a whole genre of indie film, all right? I have seen other indie films where it's like, hey, this town you never heard of or you've heard little about, this is a week in the life of someone who lives here. Columbus is a great example. Great movie. Also, so slow. Oh my word, is it the slowest movie ever watched. It's 2 hours. It feels like 4 hours, and there's about 60 minutes of plot. And that's not unlike this movie, where you're like, oh, nothing's going on, but we're here. What a pleasant little... And it's the same... Columbus is actually the same way, too, because both the lead actors, you're like, I like you guys a lot. Too bad nothing's happening. There's nothing pushing this movie forward. At least this movie had a dog, and the dog's name was Marvin, and he was both the hero and the villain. And what a wonderful way to write a film. Look at him hustle. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. You don't get a bulldog and not expect to be pulled around town. They got that low center of gravity, and they're meaty. They're meaty boys. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you had a center, if like a center in football, if you were trying to take him on a walk, it's like, no, you're going where he wants to go. He will tow you across town. Like, you just got to give in to where Marvin wants to go. So, that's my thought on Marvin. I have another question for you. This is a big conspiracy question. We're going to have to talk about this. Is it a tiny cereal bowl, or is Adam Driver just huge? He eats Cheerios out of the smallest cup. Like, his spoon barely fits in the cup, and his hands are so big. I don't know what size bowl this was, and I'm going to need your help on this, because I felt like I was doing crazy. I was trying to figure it out. I had my thumb up. I was trying to do measurements, Real tough. Real tough. They talk about twins in this movie, then there's twins everywhere. And the first time it happened, those old dudes, I was like, those old dudes are his kids. We're in a time travel multiverse movie, and this is gonna get weird. And then it was just like, no, it's just the thing that happened. And maybe it was a good choice, but I would have been down. I would have been down for a multiverse film where it's like, no, these are your children from another universe, and you've traveled. Paterson is the center of the multiverse. You know what I'm saying? Every time you look at the waterfall, you transport to a different multiverse. That's not what, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how it would explain Marvin's turn. Because it's like, no, this is good Marvin multiverse. Now you're an evil Marvin multiverse. You know what I'm saying? I think this movie, look, if we were to remake this movie, number one, we wouldn't change the casting one bit. Number two, it's got to be a multiverse thing. We'll get Spider-Man in here. We have a plethora of Spider-Man now. We could pick any one of them to be in this thing, and we'll tie it into the MCU. And now we're going. Now Adam Driver's in the MCU. Now Marvin's in the MCU. We got Poems is going. Can't be stopped. Good Marvin. Bad Marvin. Apathetic Marvin. BDSM Marvin. Alien Marvin. Marvin the Martian. That writes itself. We tie that into Looney Tunes universe. We're going. We're off and running. Imagine Marvin, but dressed like Marvin from Looney Tunes. Right? Bulldog with a little alien hat and a little gun, a little holster. Come on, you're telling me you wouldn't pay? You're telling me you wouldn't pay $12 to watch that movie in a theater? Yes, you would. You would.
I'm amazed at how long you were able to go on. I was like, I'm just gonna let him keep going.
I got ideas, man.
Just let him keep going on Marvin. Here's the thing, Cody. Let me spin this for you. Imagine if Bendy didn't like you. You would be Adam Driver. All right. You would be mouthing, I don't like you.
I missed a note. It was, he's gonna kill that dog. That was early in the movie, so
yeah.
Look, I hear what you're saying. Dogs love me, okay? I'm a dog man.
Yeah.
I'm a dog whisperer.
You do whisper to them. You whisper sweet nothings to them. I mean, sure, I'm just saying, like, if Bendy was always tipping over your mailbox, Cody.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that it's Bendy. That's what
but he
that
probably
was so great about him. Marvin's just like, oh, it's time for me to dip over the mailbox. Have you seen that video? There's this bulldog, and his whole thing is that similar to how Marvin like pushes over the mailbox. This bulldog just goes around and knocks over trash cans. Like when he sees the trash can, he's like, it's go time. He runs up to it, body slams it so the trash can falls over, and then he runs back to his owner. It is delightful to watch. Just a bulldog like fly, body slam a big old trash can. It's a good time.
So I did find, I found an article here that says Driver has been described as enormous, so big, and a cross between Raging Bull era De Niro and Nicolas Cage in Moonstruck.
Okay. Well,
but while 6'2" is definitely tall, it's not the hulking height that some might expect from seeing the actor in his film and TV roles. However, Vice recently reported that a fan that had met Driver says that he is actually closer to 6'3" and is incredibly broad in his shoulders.
6'3" is pretty ginormous for Hollywood, though.
He's a big boy.
Because, I mean, actors, here's the thing about actors. They're average or short, and they got big ol' heads. All right? That's what you got to make it in Hollywood, that's what you got it. So
Yes.
if you're kind of a unicorn if you're tall, like, what's his name? John Krasinski's a tall boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how tall Andrew Garfield is. He might be a little tall. Adam Driver's a tall one.
Andrew Garfield's
there's only a few of them.
It's like, every time I hear that he's not short, I'm always like, what? Because he seems like he'd be short, but he's not.
Yeah. He's so slender. He's kind of like a beanpole, Whereas Adam Driver, he's got that wide chest, got that horse chest.
He is a big boy. Hold on now. I'm going to be sending you a reference image here.
All right.
For you to, if you can just look, take a gander at that and describe it to the.
I believe this is from the Adam Driver Burberry ad where he rides a horse and runs into the water with the horse. And spoiler alert, maybe it's Dior or is it Burberry? Anyway, he turns into a centaur under the water. Pretty great. So
Burberry.
no, he's atop the horse, and he is built. I mean, he might be photoshopped there. Look at that man. He's got those tight black pants. He's astride a horse, and
Here you go.
yeah,
Here's another angle for you.
yeah. I mean, they've definitely photoshopped some veins onto him, but he's working.
How
Like,
dare you, sir? I mean, Cody, there's only one true shirtless Adam Driver image, right? We all know it. We all have it. We all have it solidly in the spank bank.
Oh, it's not the high pants, is it?
Oh, Cody. You know.
Yeah.
You know it. Oh,
There
my gosh.
are those high
It
pants.
is. They're so high. He's like just a wall of a man. He's so square.
Oh man, what a man! He's taking a break. He said he was like kind of pressing pause on acting and just taking some time to himself. He's been in so many big movies back to back.
Yeah.
But, you know, I respect.
Yeah. You know?
You talked about Donnie. Is that the nice man who's very, very sad and has all the problems in the world?
He's got a
Like
rash.
the bus dispatcher guy.
Yeah, he's got the rash.
I forget that actor. He's in it. That actor's in a few things. He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
My note for him is, he's like Eeyore. He's like a human Eeyore.
Yeah.
He's like, anyway, this happened and this happened and everything's terrible, but what are you gonna do? It's like something about it. He's like, nope, I'll do nothing about it. You're like, oh yeah, there's Eeyore. There he is.
Yeah. I liked their conversations where he's like, "How are you? Like, how you doing?" And then he's like, "Well, how about you? I'm good."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh man.
That's a good one right there. Oh, so funny.
I want to talk about the bus virgins.
Yeah. But
So,
Cody,
drivers
Cody, they knew.
on the bus, and there's two construction boys, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, Gina, she came over. She was talking at the party, and it was pretty wild. She was like smiling at me, and talking is it's pretty hot. He's like, "Oh, you got her number?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I did. Did you call her?" Nah, no, I didn't. He's like, "But these girls are crazy out here."
Yeah. No, these
So they have that whole
females.
conversation. These females.
These females.
Like the girl walks past in the bus, she's like, "Oh gosh." Absolute virgins. I love it. It is that is based on a real conversation that the director heard at a bar. He was like, "This is amazing," and he should put it in his movie. So real conversation that happened. Pretty fantastic. Made me real happy. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
"Well, I had to wake up early, for work, so."
Yeah, I hadn't showered yet, so So she just left, but I knew what she wanted. They knew what they wanted, Cody. They knew what these girls wanted.
It's so good,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah.
These females
Right.
out here,
Females be wild out here. They got all quiet as she walked past.
Oh man.
Good times.
What'd you think of? I mean, we already talked about the nice wife lady. What's her name? Laura. She little projects, little cupcakes, her guitar, her painting.
All right.
She's out here telling. Check over the shoulder. I know. So
Yeah. So this is where I identified with the film.
yeah, I knew you. Okay, this is what I want to hear.
Just the coming home to a new project and be like, "Oh, it looks great," "Oh, that's awesome, sweetie." Yeah. "Oh, baby, that looks so good." You're doing it. Look at you go. And then come home, another project. "Cool, that's awesome, honey. Oh, that's so good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, yeah, of course. Yeah. No, you could definitely be a professional wrestler if you really put your mind to it. Like.
I mean, I could absolutely see this being Bailey if she wasn't working right now. So, I even read an article recently about, I forget what even like the point of it was, but it was talking about like there's just some people where like they kind of pour everything into. I thought of a project. This is everything now for the next 4 to 8 hours, and then we will never talk about it again. I have another idea for a project. It's gonna change our lives. And then 2 days later, like, yeah, no. Anyway, here's the new project.
Yeah. Like, no, this is all I've ever wanted to do. All right, this has been my dream since I was a baby. Anyway,
You know how everything
moving
I
on from
live
that.
and breathe is about becoming a country music star, right?
Yeah, but just his like,
Where is she from? She's like a Persian lady, you know. She's like, you know, country music and me, we're hand in hand. This has always been it.
yeah, which
So-
then it was like, yeah, but just like oh yeah, no, that's that's awesome, you know. And
I
his
thought it was
face
so
when she's like, the speech she gives him leading into it's a few $100s, and the face he makes, I was like, so many conversations like that. Like, okay, so I found this thing. It's perfect. You know how I've wanted to do this for so long, and this would make it possible, and it's perfect. And it got all this extra stuff, and really, it's a great value for this much money. It's like, what?
Yeah.
For how much?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, that'd be great. You know, like running
I've
through the
had-
budget in your head a million times, trying to figure it
Yeah.
out.
I've had the exact conversation when she said, "It's like, all right, we need to talk. Something about me and something about you." And she says, "She was like, oh, I've had this exact conversation about every other week for the last 2 years."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. But I thought it was really sweet. He's very supportive. They're very supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And it was just nice. They were cute together, I thought.
Yeah, I thought they were cute. I was waiting for the part when they had their meltdown because Cody, I thought this was, because I'm pretty sure it's, you know, it seems like he wears the same clothes and it's this in the same house as, like, what was that movie, Marriage Story or something, where it's his marriage slowly falling apart? So that's what I was expecting.
It's not slow. That marriage falls apart immediately.
I was expecting the book gets ripped up and it's like, oh, okay, now he's gonna do his crazy like rant thing I've seen online, and he never does. The movie
Punch the
ends,
wall, yeah.
and I was like, this is a different movie. And then I thought for a second, I was like, do they have multiple versions of the movie? Like, is it like every time you play it, everything's a little bit different? Sometimes their marriage works out, sometimes it doesn't. And then I thought, oh my gosh, that's a genius idea for like a streaming only movie.
Yeah, it's like how when they released Clue on VHS, they had
Yeah.
3 different endings, like 3 different people who did the murder.
Yeah.
So just
Like-
depending on what copy you got.
That'd be such a easy thing to do. But like make it subtle, you know?
Right.
Because you could do it with something like this where it's like throughout the movie, like, oh, he, you know, like you watched it and he wasn't supportive of like they still got the guitar, but he wasn't supportive of the guitar thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that causes tension, Cody. And she
Yeah.
is like, oh, I told you to get the copies made, you know, because he wasn't supportive of the guitar. I told you to
Yeah.
go make a copy of your stupid book.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're fighting. And then who's there? Marvin. He's there. He's unscrewing the chandelier. It
He's
falls
the
on Adam
puppet
Driver.
master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvin
Oh,
takes the
man.
chair, man. You know? Do you have
I
a
love-
chair in
I
your
love
house
Marvin
that's
so
only for
much.
animals?
Absolutely not. No, because whatever chair I'm sitting in, that's where the animals are sitting.
Yeah. Here's the real question.
That's how
Cody.
it works.
Here's the real question.
I
that
move Bindi, I sit down, then Bindi gets on me. That's
Yeah.
how it works.
Well, you're in
Or
her
sits
seat.
on my face on the bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's how it goes.
You are the seat, Cody. That's what
Yes.
you don't understand. Here's the thing, Cody.
Here's the thing. I got 6 theater style chairs in 2 rows in my basement now. Let me tell you, Bindi has never picked any chair except for the one I sit in.
Yeah. Because she loves you, Cody.
When I go to get in bed, she's like, I'm going to sit where you go. So then you have to move me, and then you sit down, and then I scooch on up to you. That's how it goes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just part of it, Cody. That's just part of it. Like the skeletons, they're part of it. All right?
Yeah. I liked I enjoyed the movie. It seemed to me just like just a humanist movie. Just like, look at all these humans having their nice little interactions. Shouldn't we all just be, nice with each other like this? And let me tell you, I haven't thought about poetry. I guess I saw a movie about Emily Dickinson, and that I thought about poetry a little bit then. Before that, it was probably my creative writing class, freshman year of college. So what, 10 years ago? That's the last time I thought about poetry, and I had to write some poems in there. I don't love poetry, but I like some of it sometimes. I haven't thought about it. Let me tell you, Adam Driver reading a poem while video was happening, I was like, oh, this is nice. I forgot poetry could be kind of nice. This movie was like a nice little poem, And it just was what it was.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Cody. Have you seen Squid Game? All right? At least the beginning of it.
I'm familiar, like, the guy approaches him and is like, you suck, right? Want to make some money?
Yeah.
Something
and then
like
they
that?
play like a game. And he approaches him with the same energy. With this guy. I mean, this man
As the guy
obviously
in the finale,
Japanese,
in the last scene.
not South Korean, right?
Uh-huh.
But it was just very funny because I was like, oh my gosh, is he about to get Squid Gamed? But no, it was not. They just had a very touching moment. Guy gives him a notebook, and I was like, oh my gosh. And Tiffany's now obsessed with Japanese notebooks.
Well, there you go. I'll tune back in next week to see what the new thing is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. It was nice. I wish that Adam Driver, Paterson, was able to tell people he was a poet, because that was the whole thing, Laura was like, you write great poems. You should print your poems. You should make some copies and see if someone wants to, do something about it. And even when he talks to other poets, he's like, oh, I like poetry, but he never says, I'm a poet too, which is like wholly unrealistic, because really, if you're a poet and another person shows any interest, you're obliged to be like, I will read one for you now,
Yeah. Be like, buckle up. It's 2.5 hours long, and half of it is in French, and I don't know how to speak French. Let's go.
Yeah.
You ever had a poet friend?
I don't know. I don't know if I have. I take it you have. I've just lived it.
I mean, I've just had someone be like, let me read you this poem. Ice. What is ice? And then it goes on for 5 minutes about nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. It's like, half your sentences weren't sentences. And I was like, I understand poems don't have to rhyme, but you need to make sentences that make sense, that are words that go together in a sentence. I feel like some people get a little too loosey-goosey with the poetry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If
that's
it's not rhyming, what's the point? You thought I was going to rhyme. I thought I was going to rhyme. I couldn't get there. It's not. If it doesn't rhyme, don't waste my time, Cody. That's the thing. All right?
Wow. Just blew my mind. So, yeah, that's what I liked about the poetry in this movie. There's the right kind where it doesn't take itself, like, too seriously, And it's kind of just like, here's my musings. Let me muse a little bit. It's kind of clever. Sometimes it's not. I love that they read the Icebox poem, which is a pretty well-known poem, I think. But it's the one that's just like, hey, sorry I ate the plums you were saving in the icebox. They were so delicious and so cold. Like, that's the poem. Like, it's a great poem.
But what does it mean?
Slice of life in 2 words, 2 sentences.
But what does it mean?
I don't know. I mean, obviously the icebox represents something that makes things cold. And the plum represents the fruit of knowledge and something like that,
Yeah. Here's the thing, Cody. I'm convinced that most poetry doesn't mean anything. It only means something because your high school English teacher got rejected from being a college professor, and now it's taking out that frustration on you by making it mean something, okay?
Here's what it is. I'll tell you what poetry is. You ever made a puzzle? Good poetry is like a puzzle, okay? It's giving you clues, and you're piecing it together. Then you piece it together, and you're like, well, this was pointless. This was an absolutely pointless exercise. I knew what the puzzle looked like because it's on the box. I made the puzzle, and now we're going to take the puzzle down,
Yeah.
And that's what's beautiful about it. It's pointless,
Yeah, but Cody, what does it mean? How does it make you feel?
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-mm. No, I refuse.
You have a
You can't make me
master's degree,
feel.
Cody.
You.
You're a highly educated man, and you can't feel things? That doesn't show a large amount of emotional intelligence, Cody. All right?
Well, you know, I'm emotionally intelligent to know that I'm a sociopath, and that's enough to pass, you know?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, you're a sociopath, which means you are aware of and do sometimes feel emotions. You just most of the time don't. But you can fake them. That's all it
But
takes,
I can
right?
pretend. Yeah, I can pretend. So
You know?
that's all you need. If anything, I'll do better than the average Joe because I
Yeah.
know exactly what I'm doing. I'm here. I'm behind the thing, the silk screen, the Wizard of Oz. You know the Wizard of Oz?
I know the Wizard of Oz.
That's
I'm
like
aware. You know?
I did enjoy a lot of the interactions. One of my favorites was probably the fireball thing, when the bus breaks down and like 4 different people are like, "Oh my goodness, could have it exploded into a giant fireball?" And he's like, "No, it's just an electrical problem." Like everyone's like, "Oh man, your bus probably is about to burst into flames in a big old fireball, huh?" And he's like, "No, it's just a bus. It's just an electrical issue."
Yeah.
I loved it.
You know, I was thinking too. I was like, I could call my mom right now, I bet, and be like, "Hey, I was on a bus and it just had like a broke down. Like it's on the side of the road now," and that would probably be the first thing she would say. Is like, "Oh my gosh, is it gonna catch on fire and blow up?" No,
Yeah.
probably not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like an Amtrak train, Cody. Topical.
Too soon.
Cody, you say it's too soon. The day of the accident, I was like, "Oh, I'm from Missouri," and someone's like, "Oh, it's a good thing you didn't take an Amtrak train here." And I was like, "Several people are dead." Like, come on, man.
Oh man.
It's like, first off, I couldn't have even taken an Amtrak train here. Second off, what? Like, I just heard about this thing like 20 minutes ago, and you're already cracking jokes to me about it. I could have known people there, man.
Oh yeah.
I didn't, but you know.
Tyler, this movie didn't have a lot of plot. Let me tell you, when they pulled out the gun, I was like, okay, this is the event. This is what's happening in the movie.
Yeah.
They're in the bar, and it's the guy from The Good Place, and he pulls a gun on his lover, his forlorn lover, or whatever. I was like, oh, this is it. First mistake, Adam Driver's in the room, all right? You should not try any shenanigans when former Marine and current actor Adam Driver's, you know, in the building.
Yeah. A man who's been described as enormous and so big.
Yeah. He takes him down, and then the bartender shoots him with the foam pellet. I was like, oh, gosh, this seems like, even if you knew it was a foam pellet, not the appropriate response. Like, can you imagine this movie if it was a real gun? He just killed this dude on the floor of the bar.
I mean, Cody,
Imagine the rest of the movie. Like them
then we got Fargo season
cleaning
whatever.
up the body. No, yeah, it exactly would be. You're right. Yeah.
Can you imagine
I
Adam
thought it
Driver
was it.
being
I thought we had an
the regular
inciting
guy?
event for the rest of the movie, and it was just a little side note, and that was it.
Yeah. I also like how you called the guys in that car ruffians when they just were like, "Hey, that dog, that's this kind of dog, right? See, I told you, man, those things are super expensive, right? Expensive feed. Oh, yeah. Watch out,
That's
dude.
how
People...
worried I was about that dog. You know what I'm like? That's what I said. These movies, you don't know what's gonna. Someone gets a gun pulled out them at the bar. We're reading poems, and the next scene, there's a gun at the bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but these guys, these fine young gentlemen did not pull that gun, Cody. They were just interested in the same. They were interested in the very dog you were.
Look,
Right.
if Adam Driver was a police officer, he would have shot all those people 6 times. You know what I'm saying? They're out here threatening crime. They're like, you better, you know what I'm saying? That's what a mobster would do. He'd be like, better watch out, that dog might get dog napped. That's what they say before they dog nap you. You know what I'm saying?
But they didn't, Cody.
I've never been more scared in my life.
Cody, I
than
think
them talking
here's the
about Marvin like he wasn't there. They didn't even address him. They're like, Adam Driver, what dog is that? You could have asked Marvin himself, all right? You could have asked that fine young dog, like, hey, what's your name, sir? That's the polite thing to do. You address the dog, and then the owner has to say, hey, I will proxy. I'll answer your questions for the dog. He's not learned English yet.
Yeah. Well, Cody, I mean, we did establish in an earlier episode that you don't know the proper etiquette, but that would be the proper etiquette for addressing somebody with a translator. So you don't talk to the translator, you talk to the person. Translator is an object there. They are subhuman in that interaction.
Just a piece of meat.
Yeah. There was one movie we watched where you're like, talk to the translator. And I was like, no, Cody. No, it's not what you're supposed to do. No. Don't look at them. You look at the person, Cody. So, like, if we had a translator over here, don't even look at them. Throw something at them every so often just to show that you know they're nothing. Like, they're not, like, you didn't even know they were there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
And just maintain very intense eye contact with the person you're speaking to when neither of you are speaking the same language.
Yes.
That's the only way to talk to someone in another language. Very.
Didn't even try barking at Marvin. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't even try to meet him halfway.
Well, you know, Cody, these ruffians roll up and bark at your dog. You know, sounds like you might think something else is going on here. You might get out your little foam pistol. All right.
Can you imagine if this movie was about like some people that learned to communicate with dogs and were like plotting some sort of a takeover?
Yeah. One mailbox tipping at a time. Slowly drive their owners insane.
Tips the mailbox over. He runs back inside.
Here's the thing, though. Who left the door open, Cody? And then who shut the door? So who's the real villain in this situation?
That's a good question. He does it every day. Oh, man.
Here's the thing, though. I thought of that, though. And I was watching that, and I was like, that's something I could see, like, Tiffany being a part of. Because she's like, well, it seems like, you know, like you like tipping it back up every day. So, yeah. So, I expected it to be, what's her name, Laura? Going out there and tipping it over. Just so that he can get the satisfaction of standing it back up every day.
It's funny, too, like, the effort he get. Like, I get it, like, as a homeowner. Sometimes you're like, I'm not going to, like, fix this all the way, but I'll make it look like it's not broken, you know? Like, I understand. But the amount of effort he goes through is, like, he tries to do it with his hand. Obviously, he's not going to stay because it never stays because he does it every day. Then some days he kind of leans on it. Some days he puts his foot on it and pushes it down. Like, Adam Driver, you are a mountain of a man. Like, if you wanted to, you could probably get this thing stuck back in or put some dirt or rocks in there so it isn't wobbly, you know? But no. Gets there, he pushes it, and he goes about his day.
Yeah. He'll get to it eventually, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then he never does.
I only have 2 fun facts in this movie.
Give me this fun facts, Cody.
First one, the man at the laundromat you may recognize as Method Man from Wu-Tang Clan. And another member of the Wu-Tang Clan is in another one of this director's movies. So, yeah. Wu-Tang Clan, they love to be in old white men's movies, you know? Yeah. Especially when they're about poetry. That's what I'm saying about this being just a humanist movie. Just like, look, there's a man rapping at the laundry. Adam Driver's just like, my dog and I are going to listen and give you a nice little compliment. You're doing a great job. You know? That's the world I wish we all lived in.
I did like that moment because I know there's some people, it always seems like it's a hotly contested thing, usually between cool people and old white men, right? Would you consider rappers as poets? And here's the correct answer, Cody. Yes. All right.
Right.
They write poetry, right? And then they rap it.
Yeah.
So it was that nice moment of he's a poet listening to another guy working on his poem in his way. Like, just one of them writes down these like super abstract things that don't rhyme, and the other one has to like sing them, or chooses to write them and sing them.
Right. Well, it's like people like 21 Pilots fans like to be like, oh, well, you know, they married rap and poetry. Like, well, it's not really fair to the entire history of hip hop, but that's cool. You know, like, just because it's in a language you recognize a little better, you know, doesn't mean that it's more poetic. Or whatever. But I mean, just like poetry, some poetry really sucks, and some of it's better. Some's more abstract. Some is more literal and more like, oh, I can identify with this because it makes more sense to me. Whereas other people are like, no, that I want something deeper than that, or want something more obscure than that, or abstract. So
Yeah.
of course it is. Just like anyone who writes songs is a poet.
Well, I would argue that rap is the merger of poetry and music, right? Because like writing a song,
it's more like
say.
poetry with rhythm, whereas
Yeah,
your typical more like pop music is more melodic and more about the music versus the
yeah. Like I would
words and
say,
the rhythms.
tradition. Like usually, music is you're writing words to go with the music, whereas rap is like you're writing rap with the intention of doing it to a beat. So it's just a different type of poetry, which I never understand people who don't classify it as poetry, because it's like there's different types of poems, right? Like there's everything from like
Some are structured, some aren't structured.
yeah, I mean there's everything from like a thick
Some have
book
set
where it's
rhyme
like,
schemes,
here's
some don't.
Yeah, like here's a poem versus a haiku. It's like this is
Right.
breadth. Cody, let's just be rapists.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
I just you're not gonna say anything about that. I love it when people have you ever heard this in like movies, shows? Every so often, instead of saying a rapper, someone will be like, "Oh, he's a rapist," and I'm like, "Don't no,
Yeah. Yeah.
no." I don't know if that's at all correct, but I hear it every so often, and I'm always like,
Can't be right.
"It's a little close."
What's one of my favorite jokes from Arrested Development is what's his name? I forget his name. Whatever. The guy who plays Tobias Funke is his name, but he's like, I was the world's, he's like a psychologist. He's like, I was the first one to combine to be both an analyst and a therapist. I was the world's first analrapist. And so then you see his business card and it just says, when you see it on paper, you're like, well, that's the worst thing I've ever seen,
Yeah.
It's pretty great. World's first analrapist. So. Oh, what a world we live in. So
Maybe
Method
that's
Man's
why-
in this movie.
Maybe that's why Adam Driver doesn't say he's a poet. He doesn't want to go down that road,
That's what I like. He just like, I like what you're working on. It's pretty cool, because he interacts with other poets during the movie too, and he's like, oh, I like what you do,
Yeah, he's
pretty cool.
very encouraging to other people while really, being like, "Oh, my stuff's not good,"
He's such a private boy. But I do like
Classic.
his poems. And his poems, I think one or two of the poems are written by the director, but the majority of the other ones are written by like another poet who's like decently well known. So all the poems in the movie are like real poems from like a real poetry guy.
So this
Who, like, has published
so they
works and stuff.
plagiarized him. Is what you're saying?
Well, I mean,
No. So it's plagiarism.
they got permission. Just pretending that Paterson wrote them. But Paterson is not a real man, nor is it a real place, as we learn, from the movie. Paterson is a state of mind. And Adam Driver's crazy. And Marvin isn't real. Right? We can all agree on that? Like, it's Adam Driver's actually the one who's crawling on all fours and tipping over his mailbox and crawling back in. That's how he's able to open the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's what this movie's about.
exactly. There you go. Boom.
My other fun fact for this movie, Adam Driver, I'm sure you're not surprised, learned how to drive a bus. So he actually took 3 months of class. Like, the production was like, it'd be great if you learned how to drive a bus. He's like, yeah, I'm super down. I'm into that. And like, we just got to figure out how to get you to learn to drive a bus. By the time they figure it out, he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to class. I'm already enrolled. I already started. So Adam Driver's a cool dude, as we all know. He's a sweet boy. He's a large barrel-chested man who's basically a horse among men. And he learned how to drive the bus. So
And he has wonderful feet.
he even passed the licensing test. So he is like a bona fide licensed driver.
Cool. That's cool. You think they'll incorporate that into,
The Kylo Ren
Kylo Ren?
Disney Plus series.
Yeah. He'll go.
They land on Earth and they're like, oh no, what do we do? It's like, don't worry. The TIE fighter, what goes down, he's like, I got this.
Yeah. Be classic.
Bus driving and like firing a laser out the window.
It's like, oh no, we need the component. What? Oh man, the only thing we can do is this microwave, this $900 mic. Where are we gonna get $900? And now, boom, it's a sitcom. It's Kylo Ren and two stormtroopers
driving.
and they're there. They're trying to raise the money to buy the microwave to fix the TIE fighter.
And his wife is just the stormtroopers, and they're making cupcakes, and he's driving the bus. And
Cody,
yeah, this could be.
let's be real.
What?
They could make 6 seasons of that show, and it would always be the best, right? Like if it was just a sitcom where it's Kylo Ren and 2 stormtroopers, you know.
Yeah,
But they're just
haven't-
dealing with being roommates and blending in.
That's the thing about
That's
like
the
what
best.
Marvel does well is, they're doing all the different genres of movies. Like this one's a heist, this one's a comedy, this one's a sci-fi, this one's a horror. They do it all. They need to do that with Star Wars a little more. Like Mandalorian's like a Western, right? But the rest of them, I don't know if they've got a vibe. They need to just be like, no, this is the sitcom Star Wars show, and it's Kylo Ren, and stormtroopers. We just got to go all in.
Yeah. Kenobi's pretty good.
Yeah, I did it. I finished it. I watched the show in a reasonable amount of time after it came out. I did it.
Look at you.
He's so proud of me.
I'm so proud
Watched
of
the
you.
whole thing.
Yeah. We'll
all
talk
the
about it.
episodes.
We'll talk about
I know
it later.
exactly what happens. I know the whole thing.
Yeah. We'll talk about
Kenobi's
it.
there. So are other characters. It's quite groundbreaking.
But we don't want to you can't give it to them. Like, as you said, when I suggested it, we will never review TV shows because I hate the listeners. So,
Exactly. Yeah, the listeners, you don't know what you want. If we were out here reviewing TV shows, we never would have got to meet Marvin.
And what a better day it would have been.
Tyler, that's about all my notes on this movie. Do you want to slap a rating on it? Do you want to tell me what you would give it, letter grade wise?
I'll give this one a B+. I liked it. I would recommend it to people, but
Tyler.
I don't think it's one that I will go back to. And so that's kind of where it would sit for me. Like B+, I feel like if it's a movie that I liked, I'm not mad that I watched. And I feel like they did a really good job, but it's not one that I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going out to buy the Steelbook,
Yeah. This is special, Tyler. I love it when this happens. I was going to give this movie a B+ too. I really enjoyed it. It was a pleasant little movie. I think it set out what it went to do. I mean, it's not in the A range where it's like, oh, I'm going to rewatch it, or I thought it was like expertly done. I thought it was well done. And it was just a very interesting, like pleasant little movie with some nice vibes. Like, I don't know. I really feel like they nailed the poetry thing, and this movie was kind of just like a nice little poem about life, and it was sweet. And I was relieved that I almost wish at the start of the movie I knew, like, yeah, nothing bad is going to happen. Everything's going to be fine. Because I was on edge for one or two scenes where I was like, something bad has to happen. But yeah, this movie, it's just simple, sweet little film. I think it's funny. I don't know if you saw on IMDb the poster for it, but the poster for this movie is one of the it's one of the poems, and it's like the most intense of the poems because it's like, I'm just gonna pull it up so I don't get it wrong, but I don't think it gives off the vibe of the movie that well.
Oh,
The
yeah.
poster, it's them in bed, and I thought this movie was going to be way more dark than it was, because it's like, if you ever left me, it's like handwritten one of his poems, I'd tear my heart out and never put it back. And you're like, oh, this is going to be some sort of a intense, romance, maybe something terrible happens. Like, no, it's just sweet little movie.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
it's just a normal couple.
Yeah,
Of an
and that's what they did. Like, it really rang true. Like you and I said, like this is what it's like to be married and not have any kids and just be kind of going about your day with Marvin.
Yeah, and like even the, how many times it comes up with like, oh, hey, these are like the 6 famous people from Paterson, and being like, because that's what it's
Yeah.
like.
That
Especially-
underdog city thing where it's like, no, Patterson's like, look, we got Allen Ginsberg, we got Abbott and Costello. They're like, no,
Which, do you know
Paterson
where
is the
Paterson
shiz.
is?
it's in New Jersey.
Yeah, it's like right outside of New York City. So I mean, it's like it's
yeah.
one of those cities where it's like basically a suburb of New York. I'm sure in most people's minds. So, which coming from, like Kansas City's that way, where they're like, oh yeah, like, you go to some places and they're like, Ernest Hemingway lived here for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Like Eminem went to middle school in St. Joe. Like, what? Okay. That's a weird flex, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah, our newspaper fired Walt Disney for not being creative. Classic stuff, right? So, Paul Rudd's from here.
Oh yeah,
Classic.
Jason Sudeikis spilled a beer on my friend. That's mine. It's my claim to fame.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I mean, you're like,
Or I
you're
guess it's
from
the
like a
other way
pit stop town. So I mean, I'm sure it's the same way. Where it's like,
Yeah.
no, we're famous. We
my
got
friend's
stuff.
car broke down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roy Rogers is buried here.
They filmed that
It's
thing
ours.
at the burger place. What movie?
Kill Bill
Kill Bill.
and Mank. Mank is filmed in Victorville partly too.
There you
So
go.
look at that. We got a couple going now.
Yeah. You know what happens in West
Sublime calls out
Nothing.
Victorville in a song. Sublime has a song about us.
Nice. That's cool. That's pretty cool.
So there you go. Well, it's a good one. You know, if you want just a nice little movie, there aren't a lot of movies like this. You know.
Yeah, I feel like there was another
It's a
one
good
that we
one.
did that I kept expecting something awful to happen. It was like another Cody
Yeah.
movie, and it was just a normal like Tuesday.
Yeah, I feel like. Oh no, I lost what I was thinking.
Oof. Can we take a second
That's a
though,
bummer.
and discuss the other thing that came up that is now a movie has injected itself so hard into our schedule that I don't think this has ever happened before. Where I have
What's
found a
that?
movie, sent it to you, and then I was like,
Oh,
we were both like, we need to watch
Yeah.
this.
yeah, that's true. Is it Cornelius or what's it called?
Yeah,
Cornelius?
it is Cornholio. No, that's not it. But Coriolanus. There we go. It's a Shakespeare play, Cody.
Mhm.
Coriolanus. You know when it gives you the like, hey, here's how to pronounce it on Wikipedia, but it just looks like it's spelled out in Greek, and you're like, that doesn't help at all.
Yeah,
Every time.
great.
Ralph Fiennes says it in the movie, in like the trailer, so that's how I can even get any kind of closeness to it.
There you
Ca-
go.
Cody, could we have found two more different movies?
I don't think so. I
Two-
don't
two-
think it's really possible.
Yeah. Well, I'll save it because I'm sure I'm gonna like go on a crazy rant about how we got to that movie when we do
Yeah.
the recording of it. But
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
get ready for us to after this movie do a William Shakespeare play. Get excited.
I'm ready. It's gonna be good.
So, the official rating, it won't even have to be average. It's a B plus for this one, right?
For Paterson?
Paterson.
Yep, that's it.
Wow.
It's a B pluser.
B plus. Good movie. You know, be sure to tweet at us about your opinions on Marvin.
Oh yeah, I need to know what the people think because it seems like we're pretty divided over here.
Yeah.
I'd lay down my life for that dog.
And I would lay down that dog's life for you, Cody. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So then we would just be in a weird like, you know,
Loop.
be like Hawkeye and Black Widow. No, I'll sacrifice myself for you, Marvin.
No, I want to die more.
Yeah, and Marvin
Fine,
will be
who's more
like, "No, yes,
suicidal?"
you should die." I'd be like, "No, Marvin, jump."
Wow. Well, thank you for listening. You can follow us and share us.
Oh, we
Opinion
also have to
Havers,
do
wherever you listen to your casts. Oh, what
We gotta do the device.
did you do? Oh my goodness! Please do the device. I'm a little nervous. What are we gonna get?
The device. Hold on, it's pulling up. Divine the
Got it.
film. So
Divine
you gotta say
film.
with me. Divine the
Divine
film.
the film.
Paddleton. Do all your movies start with P?
Yes, dude. I can't tell you how excited Paddleton. It sounds like Paterson. It's not, but it is, dude. This is Paddleton's one I've seen that I only know one other person who's ever seen it, and I've never got anyone else to watch. Tyler, this is gonna be great. This next episode is gonna be
Should I
great.
read the blurb to give the
You
to
can,
tease
yeah.
to titillate? An unlikely
Yeah.
an unlikely friendship between two misfit neighbors turns into an unsuspected emotional journey when the younger man is diagnosed with terminal cancer. Paddleton,
Dude.
a comedy of dramatic proportions.
That's the movie that introduced me to Solvang, the town in California. They go to Solvang in it. All right.
Cool.
Paddleton. All right. You have no idea how excited I am. This is like, if I could make a list of like the 50 films in the device, this would be in the top 5 of like, okay, this is the one I want to watch. This one.
We're gonna do it.
All right.
Next, Cody's Corner.
Thank you for listening. Follow us wherever you find podcasts. You can tweet at us at Opinion Havers. We're on Instagram, Facebook as well. Till next time, watch movies.
And have opinions. Is it Paddleton because they have... But they have tennis rackets. So...
Hey. Put your fingers up to my... Put your lips up to my fingers. Hey. Oh.